Welcome back to your source of sanity in an insane world. It's the Peter Schiff Show.
Welcome back. This is Peter Schiff here at the Peter Schiff Show. And, I want to make an announcement regarding the status of the Peter Schiff Show. It was about almost 4 years ago. I think it was in October of 2010, after I had lost my primary for the United States Senate. But I began the Peter Schiff Show looking for some other way to make a difference when my attempt to do so in the U.S. Senate didn't really go anywhere. So I, committed to doing this show. I used to do a show called Wall Street Unspun, right? For those of you who go way back, I did 1 hour one Wednesday. And I took call-ins and I put the show out on shortwave. So I was doing Wall Street Unspun, and so then I did the Peter Schiff Show. And when I first started doing it, the idea was to be a syndicated talk show host, to try to, have a bigger influence on the electorate out there, on the public, by, just having a bigger soapbox to stand on than just going on CNBC or Fox Business or some of the shows I go on. Or blogging on the internet or stuff like that. And so the hope was that the show could be much bigger, right? And I've been doing it now for about 4 years, and it really has been a lot more difficult than maybe I first believed to get the show to that level of significance. I mean, the number of stations we're on, really hasn't been growing. We're on some radio stations, but most of them are in very small markets. It's really hard to penetrate into the major metropolitan areas. Most of the shows, the stations that take the show, they play it, maybe they take 1 hour a week. They do it on a weekend or a high hour. So I don't know how many people actually listen on the radio. We have a pretty sizable online audience, but I'm not really sure that it's grown that significantly. The number of premium members has kind of been consistent at around 3,000 since the first 6 months of the show. It really hasn't had any exponential growth. So I know I have a lot of very loyal listeners who enjoy the program. And but unfortunately for me, I'm probably spending a lot of time preaching to the choir. But it's taken up a lot of my time. It takes up most of my morning because I've got to do the show live at 10 o'clock Eastern time. And there's a little bit of prep work. Fortunately, I don't need much. I need a lot less than most radio hosts. But you figure half hour, an hour, I got to do a little bit, figure out maybe what I'm going to talk about, read some articles. That some of them, of course, I might read them anyway. But it takes up the whole morning, really. I'm in radio mode. Sometimes I do some work earlier, in the morning before the show. But then, it's lunchtime and I got to eat lunch. And so it's really pretty much my day doesn't really start until 12:30, 1 o'clock. And so I made a decision that for me, given where I am, I've got a lot of commitments. I have a lot of balls I'm juggling as far as all of my various businesses. I've got the broker-dealer, Euro Pacific Capital. I've got Euro Pacific Precious Metals. I've got Euro Pacific Bank that I'm dealing with, Canada, a lot of things. And there's a lot of growth. And I've got my asset management company now in Puerto Rico. And the bank, actually, too, we've hired quite a few people, just simply listeners from this show. And by the way, we're still hiring. There is really a lot of growth. Incredible growth at Euro Pacific Bank. And the one thing about my bank is it's never going to need a bailout, that's for sure, because we don't make any loans. We're a 100% reserve bank. So again, we encourage listeners who are interested in jobs to continue to forward their resumes for Euro Pacific Bank. And you can be an American and work at the bank. You just can't be an American and have an account at the bank, but you certainly can work for the bank. You just can't do the work from America. But with all the businesses that I have, and I travel a lot. That's one of the hard parts about doing this show is coordinating all my travel and trying to get people to guest hosts. And I know, we got Tom Woods or Stefan Molyneux or Larry Elder, but a lot of times they can't do it, or they can't commit, or it's hard. And it complicates my travel schedule. And there are things that, I don't do. And I need the free time. I need it for travel. I need it for business. And so I just can't, at this point, really afford to be doing a daily show. So basically, the Peter Schiff Show, as we know it, will come to an end at the end of the month. This is going to be the last month that I'm going to be doing the daily show. So I want to thank everybody for listening to the show and supporting the show. But at the end of the month, it will be the last episode of the show. Now, it doesn't mean that I am going to stop communicating my ideas on my thoughts on the market. That's not going to happen. I'm just not going to do it in this format. What I'm most likely going to do, and I will be making announcements throughout the month as to what we will be introducing when the show ends at the end of the month. But at a minimum, I will be doing a podcast, probably 2-hour weekly podcast, that will go over many of the topics that I cover on the show. It'll probably be a little bit more market-focused, economic-focused, a little less on the politics, a little bit more focused in where my expertise really lies. You know, we're trying to broaden out the show to make it more popular among the masses. There won't be as big a need to do that in the podcast world, where I can be a little bit more focused on my audience. But I know that I've got a wide range of people who listen. Look, I was in the city over the weekend seeing a show, and I got out of the car. A couple of young kids come running up to me, and they're probably in their early 20s. Oh, Peter Schiff, and obviously these guys aren't investment clients. They're not likely to have money to invest, but they listen to my show, and I'm glad for that. So I want to continue to put information out there. So at a minimum, we'll be doing the 2-hour podcast. So and the podcast will be on the same Schiff Radio site, and so just make sure that you're visiting Schiff Radio for the updates on how to get this podcast, how to upload it, download it, whatever you talk. It won't have any commercials, so it'll be 2 real hours. When I do this show, I got 2 hours. I got lots of commercials, so it's not really 2 hours, and I won't be taking guests really, maybe once in a while. So it'll really be me, and it won't be live calls. We might have a format where people can submit questions, but it'll mainly be me talking. So you'll get plenty of updates on what's going on throughout the week. And, of course, I'm still going to be putting up the video blogs that I do. In fact, I'll probably be doing more video blogs than I do now. I used to do more, but I just kind of lost time to do them. And so you'll notice on my Schiff report, it was a month between my last 2 videos. So you'll get more video blogs when I'm not doing the show. So I'll still be out there. You'll still know what I think, and you'll still have my reaction to the big economic and market moving news, just not on a daily basis. I've been doing the show now for almost 4 years, and it's not that I haven't enjoyed doing the show. I do enjoy it, and it is with considerable regret that I had to announce that we're going to be ending the show. I know there are a lot of people who really enjoy it, and I appreciate all the loyal listeners who have been listening every day, and I certainly appreciate those premium members who have actually paid monthly for premium access to the show. Your support certainly helped defray some of my costs associated with continuing to keep the program on the air. But, it really boils down to the use of my time, the best use of my day. There isn't an unlimited amount of time. And really, it is difficult to commit to a live broadcast every morning, 5 days a week. I mean, it's not necessarily easy. You've got to do it. You got to be there. And so it certainly limits your ability to travel. Certainly, if you try to go out to the West Coast or a different time zone, and I know a lot of people would complain too that, when I'm away, and I feel guilty, I'm away, and now there's a guest host or there's a best of. And, some people like the guest hosts, and I appreciate that people like, my brother does it once in a while, and again, Tom Woods and Stefan Molyneux or Larry Elder, and some people come in and do the show. But I still would feel, somehow like, I regret that I had, that I'm not there. And so there's some things I don't do because I have a commitment to the show, and you've got all these stations that, are expecting the show. So, at the end of the day, it's just I cannot commit the time and the financial resources when there are other things that I need to do. But as I said, I am working on some alternative ways of staying engaged, providing content to people who, look forward to it. I'm still going to be out there. I'm still going to be blogging on the Peter Schiff channel on YouTube. Again, if you're not a subscriber, go to my YouTube channel. Look, I put up a half an hour video yesterday. So a lot of stuff, stuff there, Schiff Report. And again, I say, we're going to do the podcast. It's going to be new. It'll be good. It'll be edited. It won't necessarily be live. So you'll have a lot of information jam-packed into a Peter Schiff Show podcast. So stay tuned. I will be keeping people abreast throughout the month of August about what we're going to be doing. Jim is calling in from Madison, Mississippi. Had a comment on an election there. Jim, you're up.
Hey, Peter. Yeah, I'm really, really sad that your show is going away because it's the perfect mix of education and entertainment. I'm going to miss it a whole lot.
Thank you.
Anyway, sure. Yeah, in our Senate election between McDaniel and Cochran down here, the establishment came in and advertised in these very poor areas of Mississippi, and they basically said that if McDaniel gets elected, he's going to cut off the welfare, and he's going to try to get it to where you can't vote anymore. And they ended up stealing the election, and McDaniel is supposed to announce today if he's going to challenge or drop out, concede. And so, anyway, that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got these kind of elections, unfortunately, happening too often. But I appreciate your comments. And, I don't think the nation is just ready yet for the Peter Schiff Show. I mean, there are some people like you who appreciate it, but obviously there's not enough of us out there. I mean, I've been doing this for 4 years, and we still can't get, radio producers, station producers to put the show on the air. I mean, I still can't really get into any major metropolitan markets. I mean, there's the stations that carry like a Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity or Glenn Beck or Mark Levin or they have no interest in the Peter Schiff Show because I guess in their mind I don't have a wide enough appeal. What I'm saying there's not enough people interested in what I have to say, and so radio stations don't want to take a chance and put me on the air. That's the problem. And if they did, if I was on in bigger cities, if I had a bigger audience, I would be doing the show. I would be continuing it. The problem is, again, I'm preaching to the choir. I've got a small choir. It's not getting any bigger. And I got to move on. And I gave it a shot, but, the country just wasn't ready. Maybe at some future point, maybe there'll be a Peter Schiff Show on again. Maybe when I'm older and have nothing else to do, but talk on the radio. But maybe, at some point, more people will appreciate what, a number of people. I mean, we have significant audience of people who do, but, in the scheme of things, I guess it's not enough to be appealing to, major syndicators, to real big time stations. So again, thanks for your listening. Thanks for the support. Hey, that's it for today. You've been listening to the Peter Schiff Show here at SchiffRadio.com, the gold standard for talk radio, at least for the rest of August. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
The Peter Schiff Show.